They did it. All right. All right. We did it. New York Giants 31, the Cardinals 28. And the Giants just did the unthinkable in the desert against the Cardinals right now. I mean, what a game by this team. What a game. And we have a lot to talk about. Obviously, the usual join the hit squad, hit that subscribe button for all New York Giants content. Let us know your thoughts on this game below. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Now, look, the first half of this game was absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I think that we can all agree, especially if you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, that the first half was some of the most ugliest Giants football that we've seen in quite some time. And we just got blown out 40-0 by the Dallas Cowboys the week prior. Okay. This was just one of those games where the Giants, I mean, they had to do something. Nothing was working the first half. The offensive line was looking bad. Defensively, I mean, we couldn't stop a cold. Daniel Jones, I mean, look, we're going to talk about Daniel Jones, especially in the second half of the game, but that first half of the game, a majority of the fan base, especially on X, was, starting to really fall off of Daniel Jones, stating, they don't think he's that guy, he didn't look good, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Look, I'm a Daniel Jones supporter myself, but I was tweeting, I didn't think that Daniel Jones was playing well. Daniel Jones was not playing well in the first half. This team as a whole wasn't playing well the first half. And it just looked like an abomination. I mean, going into the half, what, 20-0? I mean, it was just utterly embarrassing. Now, let's get one thing out the way. We all saw Brian Dable, taking over. At least it looked like he was taking over the play calling. And that kind of caught me by surprise, considering that I thought that, he would at least let, Mike Kafka, call the plays, at least for the rest of the game, and maybe, kind of game change something, going into the 49ers. But no, Brian Dable calls plays, and the Giants come out just like they did last year, a better team in the second half. Now, first off, I hope that Saquon Barkley is okay. Saquon, yeah, as y'all see it here, man. I mean, he really had himself a game today. Had a costly interception, which I thought, I even tweeted. I said Saquon, man. I mean, just that was just something that you got to come down with, But we'll see the severity to that injury. I'm hoping that he's okay, but Saquon Barkley, he really came into this game, had himself a solid game, especially on that last drive. I mean, Saquon Barkley was crucial. He had himself a touchdown through the air. He had himself a touchdown onto the ground as well. I have some notes here. 63 yards off of 17 carries. Not too bad, averaging 3.7 yards per attempt. One touchdown on the ground. Beautiful, beautiful touchdown through the air. I got to say this much, right? Again, we all know what this team looked like in the first half. That's nothing, nothing new. It was really sad to see, but nothing new. This team coming out of the half came out of the half with fire in their eyes. That first drive, a beautiful bomb by Daniel Jones to the rookie Jalen Hyatt, who had his coming out game. I mean, 89 yards. 89 yards for the rookie. He came out when we needed him to come out. Had a beautiful, beautiful, I believe it was 58 yards on that first reception coming out of the half. Set up a beautiful run play for Daniel Jones to get the score and get the Giants on the board. At that point in time, I'm looking around my house and I'm saying, things are going to change. I never hold out hope. That's just me. It's the curse of being a Giants fan for me. I never hold out hope, and I said to myself, I said, we got ourselves a game. At that point, we're down 20-7, and I know that there was still people on the downs, and I get that, but I said to myself, I was like, we got ourselves a game here. We could come reel this back in. And lo and behold, we did. Darius Slayton. Darius freaking Slayton. First of all, hold on, hold on. I got to tell you, I last year was a player, excuse me, I was a person definitely not a player. I was a person, on YouTube stating that, I wasn't sure on Darius Slayton. We should probably look in a different direction. I didn't think that Darius Slayton was that guy. He worked himself up and put himself together quite a very good year last year, and ultimately, he signed a contract extension with the New York Giants this offseason. But beautiful, beautiful. He picked up, I believe it was like 15 yards on one reception, almost had himself a touchdown on a beautiful bomb play. Darren Waller. Darren Waller, man. I mean, 76 yards off six receptions. Again, Jalen Hyatt, 89 yards. But, Darren Waller, I mean, he looked like everything that was promised. I really, really want to see him get in the end zone. I'm really just counting down the days until we could see that. But, he was a mismatch nightmare out there. Linebackers were struggling with him. Their defense had no answers, for Darren Waller as soon as this offense started clicking. You look at Isaiah Hodgins, who scored himself a touchdown. Actually, I believe that was the same. That might have been the same play that he scored in the postseason against the Vikings. I believe it might have been a skinny post. I could be wrong, but I believe it was a skinny post. Beautiful, regardless. I mean, it was a touchdown that we very much needed. And Isaiah Hodgins, I mean, 4 receptions for 40 yards. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? One thing I will say about Daniel Jones in this offense is that Daniel Jones got the ball out to not just one receiver, not just two. He got the ball out to multiple receivers on this offense. Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard, Saquon Barkley, Darren Waller, Isaiah Hodgins. I mean, he was getting people the ball and efficiently. Daniel Jones in the second half looked like what we saw in the postseason against the Vikings. He looked like the Daniel Jones that we were hoping to see going into this season. He looked automatic. He looked efficient. He looked sharp. He looked confident. In the first half, he didn't. Let's be real here. In the first half, he did not look confident. He looked shook. He looked very uncomfortable. I mean, nothing was clicking for this team, and I'm just very, very happy to see, how this team was able to come together and pull off an upset for the freaking year. I mean, I gotta say, coming down from 20-0, seeing that this team is not clicking. Our defense again could not stop a freaking cold if we needed them to. How is this team gonna, rally together, and come back and win this game? This was a must-win game for this New York Giants team. I would have loved to have been a fly in that locker room, just to see and hear, just what was going on and what fired this team up. Now, look, I have to mention this, okay? Because I tweeted it, and I know some people are gonna say, "Hit, you got to talk about this because we saw you tweet this." Xavier McKinney, I love you, bro. I really do. X-Man, I have high hopes for Xavier McKinney. This was not a good game by Xavier McKinney. I mean, it just seemed like he was getting ran over left and right. He couldn't take players down. I mean, it seemed like this team was really trying to strip the ball out as opposed to everyone getting to the ball, making sure the player goes down. James Conner looked like prime LeGarrette Blunt out there. Just we could not stop it. We could not stop this run attack. We couldn't get any pressure, at least in the first half. We couldn't get any pressure on this Arizona Cardinals team. And, you look at that play that Josh Dobbs, scrambled for a touchdown, just completely ran over Xavier McKinney. Zach Ertz was taking Xavier McKinney's money and not giving it back to him. I thought Jason Pinnock had a decent game. He had 10 tackles, but, almost had an interception that was wiped off. I thought Deontay Banks played fairly decent. But Xavier McKinney, with this contract situation coming up, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Giants play this, because this has not been a good 2-game stretch for Xavier McKinney. And I might be being a little bit over dramatic here, but if I'm being honest here, Xavier McKinney has not played well so far this season. And I believe that he has the capabilities to, right? I think that he has all of the intangibles that you need, to be a successful and very good safety in this league. But he just did not have a good game today. Dexter Lawrence, they couldn't stop this man. They could not stop this man. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay, and that elephant in the room is Kayvon Thibodeau. Y'all know that Kayvon Thibodeau was a player that I wanted desperately this past draft. Excuse me, the draft before this past draft. And man, I said to myself, and if you guys saw this, if you haven't already, go check out our video with Tommy G. We were talking about this. I said, with the possibility of Aziz Ojolari being out of the lineup, Kayvon, what can you do? Can you capitalize on this bad offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals? Can you show why you were selected fifth overall? He showed some flashes, but as a whole, I left this game wondering where Kayvon Thibodeau was. I really do. Now, granted, he had Boogie Basham on the other side of him. He had Jahad Ward, who he's looked like the game has passed him already, but Kayvon, man, we need better. We need better. You were selected fifth overall. There was a video that to me, man, I kind of was shaking my head a little bit, but I didn't want to, read too much into it. I'm not going to get on here and get too hard on the kid, but, you see this team rallying against each other. It was a video by LPG. You see the team rallying against each other. Defense is trying to get pumped. And then he pans the camera a little bit further down, and you see Kayvon by himself on the bench. You don't want to see that. Now, hear me out. He could be talking to himself. He could just be needing some time, to, just talk to himself. Anything, anything. It could be anything. I'm not going to assume. I wasn't there on the sideline. I'm not going to assume. Does it look great? No. But at the end of the day, I still think that he has a lot of potential in this league. He shows flashes that he can be an elite player. But that was something that I'm saying to myself, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. And then you pair that with his production in the game. He had a nice, believe he had a nice blitz towards the fourth quarter. But other than that, I didn't really see Kayvon Thibodeau in this game too much. And you go against the 49ers, who have, if not a top two, I would say the best offensive line in this league. I know people will say Philly, but you look at that O line over there for the 49ers, and they just anything they want to do, they will get done. And you better hope that your defense can stop it, because if not, it's going to be a rude awakening for you. And I say to myself, okay, you were going against the bad offensive line. Can you show some flashes going on a short week to the 49ers, where you're going to be going against Trent Williams, the 1B to Andrew Thomas in this league, in my little bit of a biased opinion, but he's still an elite player, and the elite of the elites, Trent Williams. So to me, can you build some confidence off of this game, go into that 49ers game, and again with Kayvon, I just I want to watch the film again, but I didn't see too many plays on the field where I'm saying to myself, Kayvon was a disruptor on this play. But because there was plays where their two tight ends were just manhandling him on the line. So yeah, uh, feels really good. The Giants are 1-1. We're gonna see the severity with Saquon Barkley. We're gonna see what happens with the play calling with Mike Kafka on a short week. But Giants fans, enjoy this. Enjoy this. We have waited so long to have football back, and obviously we don't want every game coming down like this, right? We don't want to be in the same situations that we were last season, where the first half of the game we're playing terribly, second half of the game we come out, we're a different team. It's nice to see, but again, it's not substantial. It's not something that we could roll out every single game. Not every team is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. We can't do that. Now, before we head out, I just want to say a quick shout out Daniel Jones, man. He must have heard what people were saying on X. 26 out of 37, 321 yards, two touchdowns, one interception. He got a touchdown on the ground. I believe that was his seventh fourth quarter comeback win of his Giant career, which is very impressive. Really loved what I saw from Daniel in the second half. We got to hope that he can build off of that, and this team as a whole can build off of that, because this was an ugly game. It was a win regardless, and I'm going to take it. But we can't be having games like this where we're getting blown out in the first half. In the second half, we decide to get our act right. We just can't do it. It's not substantial, but I'll take it for now. I will take it for now. And again, Giants fans, just enjoy this win. Enjoy it. We have a short week ahead of us going against the 49ers. We deserve, to at least feel somewhat happy about this game, because it could have went a lot worse than what, it was going at first. And we were able to come out with the win in the desert. But let us know your thoughts below. Giants are 1-1. We're still alive. Our season is still looking somewhat bright. It's about to get a lot harder going down the stretch, but this Giants team, they got to come together. They have to come together. They have to get their act right, and they have to play better than what they've been playing these last two games. To be outscored 60, I believe it was what 60-0 through 6 quarters or something like that, or 54 to 0 through 6 quarters. You never want to see that. It was embarrassing. I never want to see the Giants go through a half, let alone a game, not scoring points. We have to be better, and I believe that this Giants team will be better. But let us know your thoughts below. I really want to hear what you guys have to say, and we'll see you guys on the next video.